Well, I know what everyone's into because of the Discords I hang around.
Yeah, you can get into some pretty interesting Discords if you need to.
If you know the right people. You can see a lot of what Henrik and Gascoigne did when no one was watching.
Yeah, Jeremy, Richard is not allowed to talk to other lore hunters, so this is an exception.
Damn. Well, I'm not. Yeah. I'm like the opposite of a lore hunter. Like all I do is pretend to talk about Dark Souls. I was telling I recorded with Patty from Twin Humanities. He's doing his One Bro series.
All right.
And we were doing we kind of had we did a thing called Dick Week where we did a bunch of PvP stuff with my soul level 1 build. So we were doing Dick Week 2 because he had just gotten past Artorias, and we were doing all of the arena stuff which he had never seen before because whoever used that when when that came out, but besides me apparently. But we were playing, and like he's been playing Soul Level 1, his One Bro run for the last couple of months, and I've barely played Dark Souls. And I'm like, apparently, recording about and talking about Dark Souls does not actually make you good at Dark Souls like I thought it did. You actually have to play the game. So, whoops.
Sorry, I'm quiet because I'm screaming at my cat and telling him to get the fuck down from where he's at right now because he's not supposed to be there. Because that's how he gets to the fridge. He's not supposed to be on the fridge.
I've got I'm gonna send you guys a picture of what's happening behind me right now because it's pretty adorable. How you been, Richard? I feel like I haven't talked to you in person in quite some time.
Yeah, no, I've since Don't Give Up Skeleton. Yeah, I am fine. I finished my PhD, so I am getting back into video stuff now.
I'll be excited to see you return to YouTube, and not just on all these garbage podcasts with Sin.
Jeremy, do you want to die today? Oh, okay, fine. You live just because of that picture. It's so cute. Jeremy, how much time you got, bro, to do this?
I'm pretty free all morning. All I got to do is play God of War. So, whatever we want, however long y'all want to go, I'm pretty much good to it. If something happens,
don't say that. Last time I said however long we were streaming for 5 hours.
Yeah,
it was supposed to be 10 minutes.
Let's say a couple hours, like probably hour and a half, 2 hours.
However long in your time, Jeremy, that's like intro and coffee in our time.
Yeah, see, the thing is, the podcasts we record, they go for about 6 hours, and then she edits them down into half an hour. That's how much of it is salvageable.
Most of it is just Richard trash talking other YouTubers now.
You know that's a lie.
Okay, one other YouTuber.
Okay, we're 11 minutes in.
Do you see why? Because Richard and I start talking about shit that's like, we can't post that online because we will get murdered. Like,
This is the thing, we get on slightly too well.
Yeah, it's true. So then I'm like...
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys have too much fun together. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a few people were like, "Oh, you guys should do podcasts live and this and that," and I'm like, "Yeah, first of all, it's not going to be as much fun for us because we'll just have to keep our mouths shut the entire time."
I was saying we should podcast live with a 7-second delay.
Yeah,
so we can just hit a button,
so you can beat yourself,
mute everything.
I've had a couple of people ask me to do Don't Give Up Skeleton live, and I'm like, I mean, I could definitely do it because I don't do a lot of editing on that podcast, but I also just don't want to because it seems like a lot of work.
Yeah.
But you know what? Our stream, Richard, 60 people were there the entire 4 hours.
Oh, God.
And then when I finished the thing, there were apparently 700 views, so more people kept coming.
It's what I said live. I said, why are you watching this?
I think they just love you so much. They're like, "Oh no, we must hear our great JSF. Yes, bless us with your voice."
Well, they kept saying they couldn't hear me properly because the game audio was too loud.
Well, somebody should have said something during the 4 hours, because I can't hear the audio because I'm listening to my laptop.
I think it was in the chat like a minute in.
Well, okay.
Speaking of questions, do we have like a bunch of questions? Because I saw a bunch of people respond. I don't know if you grabbed all those responses on Twitter. Or...
We could do those first.
Oh yeah, there was a big list on Twitter where you tagged both of us without asking.
Yeah, I love waking up to 20 notifications on my phone.
Yeah, every time I log on and there's a ton of notifications, I'm like, I think I know what's happened.
Okay, let me go. So that's how we could start.
Okay.
This, I don't know, Richard, I don't know if you listen to Abject Suffering or not.
I do, yeah.
Did you hear Gary's story about me and him going to the cemetery in New Orleans together?
No, not yet. Which one's that in?
I'll have to look it up. I don't remember.
Yeah, they go off topic
ones.
even worse than this.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
But there's so we're in the cemetery in New Orleans. You have to have a tour guide because people will go in there and kind of vandalize it because they think, voodoo queens are buried in there or whatever.
Yeah.
So the guy, our tour guide, is really weird. I won't go into the full thing. He's a really kind of crazy dude, and that has this kind of weird way of selling. Like it was almost like he was trying to sell us on the concept of being buried in a vault instead of a grave.
Oh my God.
Like he was like, you guys are just wasting so much space out there with graveyards. You can fit 10 people in a vault, like that kind of thing. But then he gets to like the middle part of the tour, and we're standing right next to the thing that Nicolas Cage bought. Like he bought a pyramid vault in there, and he's telling us that this is the spot on that movie. I think it was Easy Rider, where the actors and actresses like snuck in there and filmed themselves like doing drugs and having sex.
Yeah.
Unbeknownst to the church, like the church had no idea this was going on.
Oh my God.
So Ernie, who is the tour guide, is telling us this, and he says, I promise this is going to loop back around to Mrs. Pilbeam in a minute. Ernie tells us he heard this story as from another tour guide, and he looked it up, and sure enough, it was true. And he went and he found the movie, and he watched the movie, and like in the middle of this movie is this big like drug fueled like orgy scene, and he said he was so shook afterwards that he had to call his mom. It's like, Mom, have you seen this movie? And she said, Ernie, have you been drinking? And he said, yeah. And I'm like, why are you drinking and watching drug fueled orgies and then calling your mom about it? Ernie, what are you doing? Anyway, I'll look up what episode it is so you can catch up. But it's a fun story. Like Ernie was a crazy dude. So